My electric bill has been $0 for the last 2 years. I'm going to show you how I got there with every number you could ever want to see. Costs, savings, hidden fees, and surprising savings I didn't even know existed. Plus, I'm going to make all the numbers extremely easy to understand. This is the video I wish I had before I got solar. So first, let me quickly go over the size and cost of the solar panels. For the size, I went with a 12.24 kilowatt system. If you're like I was when I was first learning about all this, you're probably like, well, that number means nothing to me. Like, how many panels is that? Let me explain. Each solar panel installed on our house is 340 watts, and there are 36 panels on the roof totaling 12,240 watts, or 12.24 kilowatts. To use or store that solar energy, I have 2 inverters. I also have 3 power walls capable of 40.5 kilowatt hours of energy storage, with 15 kilowatts of continuous power and 21 kilowatts of surge power. And don't worry, I'll show you examples of what my house uses in a second, and all those numbers will make sense. Okay, so now the moment of truth, the price. The total I paid up front before any tax credits or rebates is $48,000. At first glance, it probably does not seem worth it for how expensive it is. And I know someone's probably typing down in the comments right now, of course your electricity bill is $0. You paid $48,000. Well, hang in there because I'm going to break down all the numbers and I think you're going to be surprised on the total savings. All right, so now let's look at the data. Our solar panels got installed in 2021, so I have 2 full years of data to show you. In 2022, the total solar generated was 23.6 megawatt hours, and in 2023, it was 24.5 megawatt hours. When I was signing up for solar, Tesla estimated our system would generate 22,415 kilowatt hours of energy per year, or 22.4 megawatt hours. So hey, my system did better than expected, which I'm happy about. Something to know, I live in Arizona with south-facing solar panels, so they get sunshine all year long. Arizona gets a lot of sun, so I might as well take advantage of it. Also, there's a reason my system generated less in 2022. One of my inverters stopped working for a few months, and I didn't even realize this was happening because I did not get a notification in the Tesla app or anything like that. But once I realized it was happening, Tesla came out quickly and fixed it, and I've had no issues since. So these megawatt hour numbers might not mean a whole lot to you, but here's what the numbers look like day to day. In the winter time, the average is about 60 kilowatt hours of solar energy per day. Looking at the graph, you can see it's generating a little bit in the morning, the most when the sun is high in the sky, and then back down when the sun is setting. In the summertime, we have more hours of daylight, so my home averages about 85 kilowatt hours of energy per day. It's a similar graph, but there's more hours of sunshine, so the numbers are higher. Okay, so that's how much solar is generated, but how much am I using in my house? Well, in 2022, I used 18.67 megawatt hours. And in 2023, I used just a bit more at 18.79 megawatt hours. I use a lot, and that's mainly because I'm running the air conditioner all the time during summer here in Arizona. But the important part is I'm generating more solar energy than I'm using per year. And here's a quick breakdown on my daily usage. When my air conditioning isn't running and the microwave and the dryer are both off, my home uses about 0.7 kilowatts of power. This is the baseline. I have 2 AC units, and if the smaller one is on, it jumps up to a total of 5 kilowatts of power. If both AC units are on, that number can jump up to 10 or 11 kilowatts. So energy is how much power is used over time, and you can find that on your energy bill. But the amount of power used at any given time is important to know for battery backup because it needs to cover all the appliances that might need to run at the same time. That's why I have 3 power walls, so it can handle the high continuous power and enough energy for backup at night, which I use about 20 to 30 kilowatt hours of energy at night in the summer, so the 3 power walls are enough to fully cover it if the grid was down until the sun comes up the next day. You might be thinking, oh Reed, your system is way too big, it's generating way more energy than your house is using. Well, hold that thought, we'll get back to it when we talk about how long it will take me to break even, and then we'll see if it's really worth it. Because you know how I said I have a $0 electric bill for 2 years? Well, it's kind of true and kind of, let me explain. So my energy company here in Arizona is SRP. In every state, an energy company is going to be a little bit different, but here's how it works where I live. I'm on the solar energy plan with what they call average demand, and the price per kilowatt hour is pretty low, whether it's peak or off-peak hours. But then there's these demand charges, and they're outrageous. Basically, if you're gonna run your air conditioning during peak pricing and the energy is coming from the grid and not your solar panels, it's gonna cost you big time. So this is why I have to have power walls or some kind of battery backup. Every day during peak pricing, my system automatically switches over to only using solar or battery backup. That way I don't have any peak pricing or demand charges. If I wasn't doing that, then I wouldn't save much and solar panels probably wouldn't be worth it where I live. Okay, so I'm avoiding all the peak pricing and demand charge fees. What else is there? Well, there is one more fee with my energy company, and that's a connection fee. It's $32.44 per month, but it can be erased. Here's how. Luckily, SRP does net metering, so they'll buy back energy at the same price they sell it to me for, which is great. So if I sell back enough energy, that money can erase the connection fee. Most months I erase that connection fee, and actually right now I have $109 credit to my account for the extra energy I've generated recently. But there are some months where I don't cancel out the connection fee, so over the 2 years I paid SRP a total of $314.78. That averages out to about $13 per month, which is really good. So I still view it as a $0 electricity bill because I don't pay anything for electricity. I just pay a little bit to stay connected to my energy company, which is kind of dumb. All right, it's time to calculate the ROI and see how long it's going to take me to break even on these expensive solar panels and power walls. But first, something that can help you find more answers. We partnered with Energy Sage on this video because even though I went with Tesla Solar, it's always best to get several quotes, and that's why I recommend checking out Energy Sage because they help you make sure you're getting the best possible price from a trustworthy installer. And Energy Sage is completely free to use, so I'm a big fan of that. And once you create an account, you'll be emailed competing quotes from reputable installers within a day or two. And it's really easy to compare them because Energy Sage standardizes the quotes for you. What's really cool is they don't require a phone number, which is really good because I hate getting sales calls. You're also assigned a personal energy advisor to answer your questions as you research and compare. I seriously had a million questions when I was researching solar, so this is extremely helpful to answer specific questions on where you live. Even if you already have a quote from a solar company like Tesla, you can still upload it to Energy Sage to compare with other proposals. I mean, they're the most trusted marketplace out there when it comes to shopping for solar and batteries, so why not shop around? On average, homeowners save about 20% on solar when comparing with Energy Sage. So if you're interested in finding out more, check it out at the link down in the description. Okay, let's see how long it will take me to break even on the solar and power walls. So the initial cost was $48,000, but then we subtract the federal and state tax credits. This isn't straight cash, but it comes off the next year's taxes, which we got, and it was very nice. There was also a $3,600 rebate for power walls that came from our energy company, SRP. That promotion has ended, but that was straight cash. This brings the total paid down to $30,994. That's still a lot. So now for the cost savings. I was spending about $200 a month on average for our electric bill. That comes out to $2,273 per year for electricity. So let's do the math. Drum roll. 13.6 years until I break even, and honestly that's not that bad for how big the system is, especially since that number will slowly shrink over time. Our local energy company has increased prices 9% over the last couple of years. By the way, here's a little tip. If you ever want to see a snapshot of a website years ago, use Wayback Machine. It's amazing, but you can see the prices have gone up, and I'm sure they're going to keep going up. Plus, there are even more savings that could bring that break-even time under 10 years. Let me explain. If you have an EV, the cost to charge it can add up. Unless you have solar panels, then it can almost be free. Here are some numbers for my house to help put it into perspective. To drive to my parents' house and back, which is 30 minutes each way, in the Tesla Model Y, it uses about 20 kilowatt hours of energy. That's how much it takes to charge the car back up after the drive. And since I'm on a solar electricity plan with my electric company, the cost for energy is around 5 cents per kilowatt hour. That's about $1 to go all the way there and back. If I were in a gas-powered car, it would cost about $10 in gas. That's nuts. And what's even more crazy is all the numbers I shared earlier with how much energy I'm using already includes charging an EV. That means my solar production is basically covering the cost of my driving. Even if your energy company isn't great, maybe the energy is still high or they buy back energy from you way cheaper than what they sell it to you for. Well, with Tesla, you can charge the car only off excess solar. That way you can stick it to the cheapskate energy companies and save more. So if you factor in all the money I was spending on gas every year, it's probably closer to 10 years until I break even on my solar panels. I'm sure some of you will pick apart my arguments, and there are definitely savings and benefits that are hard to measure, like comfort, resale value of your home, and more. So with all that in mind, is it worth it? For me, it is. I love cranking up the AC in my house when it's hot outside and not worrying about my electric bill going up. I know I've already paid for it, but now I don't have to worry about how much to save or spend every day. We can just set the temperature to what we like, and it's just one less thing to worry about. Also, I don't regret getting a larger system. If I would have gotten less solar panels, then I would have to pay full price for that connection fee. I plan on living in this house for a while, and that fee can add up over time. So much that it costs almost the same as upgrading to the larger system. So I would just rather have the larger system. Plus, the solar panels will slowly become less efficient. Tesla says about 0.5% per year. So that's another reason why I went with a slightly larger system, because I still want to cover my energy usage way down the road from now. Lastly, we like the peace of mind of not having to rely on the grid. And the power has gone out in our neighborhood and our lights in our house just barely flickered and nothing turned off. I was shocked at how fast everything switched over. So to all those comments about my smart home breaking when the power goes out, it doesn't. Business as usual around here, and I love it. Hopefully this video is helpful, and if you're thinking about getting solar, check out the links down below. Thanks for watching.
Dad, how big is our solar system?
Oh, it's 12.24 kilowatts.
Okay, thank you. Dad, you are wrong. Our solar system has 8 planets, and my teacher's really mad at you.
Well, your teacher's wrong. There's 9 planets. Pluto's a planet. Come on.